We're going deep on the future of energy today. But you can put aside those rooftop solar panels for a minute. It's about what's happening behind the scenes, a whole revolution, really. And there's this company, Kraken, right at the center of it all.
Yeah, they're one to watch, that's for sure.
You might not know the name yet. But here's the thing. They're already managing a huge chunk, like a significant portion of the UK and Australia's energy grids.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, and it kind of gives you a sense of the scale they're operating on. What really caught my eye, though, was this quote from their CEO. He said something like, "We're in the BlackBerry era of energy AI right now."
I saw that.
So then you got to wonder, what's the iPhone moment going to be for something as important as our electricity?
Right. Talk about a billion-dollar question.
Right.
What's interesting here and what makes Kraken stand out is they're not just some software company, like trying to break into the energy sector.
Yeah, they've got skin in the game, it sounds like.
Exactly. They actually came from Octopus Energy, one of those UK energy suppliers that's been growing crazy fast.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
And get this, Kraken was founded back in 2015, specifically to tackle the real-world problems Octopus was facing.
So they were born in the thick of it.
Exactly. Not just theorizing from some ivory tower. They've been in the trenches dealing with renewables, the whole electric vehicle explosion.
And all the demands of modern homes now.
All of it, which gives them a huge advantage in my book.
You mentioned those challenges.
Yeah.
Renewables, electric vehicles, the way we live in our homes now. Why is all this happening at the same time? What makes this such a crucial moment for energy?
Honestly, it's like a perfect storm brewing.
How so?
Well, we're seeing this massive wave of renewable energy sources, wind, solar, you name it, which is amazing for the planet, obviously.
Of course.
But they're also notoriously unpredictable.
That's the catch we always hear, right?
Yeah, and on top of that, you've got millions of electric vehicles hitting the road, which puts a whole new kind of strain on the grid.
Yeah, it adds a whole other layer of demand, doesn't it?
Exactly. And then, let's not forget about our homes.
What about them?
They're getting smarter, more connected.
And more power hungry.
Exactly. All those smart appliances, heating and cooling systems.
Even home charging stations now.
All of it needs power, and it all needs to be managed really carefully.
And that's where Kraken comes in.
Right on the money. See their platform. It was designed from day one for this kind of complex, data-heavy environment.
So they're not dealing with all those clunky old systems.
Nope. They're starting fresh, focused on flexibility and intelligence built right in.
So when we say Kraken is a platform, what are we actually talking about here? What does it actually do?
It's like, imagine the operating system for the entire energy grid.
Wow, okay.
That's essentially what Kraken is. It connects everything, suppliers, grid operators.
Even individual homes.
Even those. And it lets them talk to each other, share data in real time.
And what kind of impact are we talking about here? Like, can you give me some concrete examples?
Sure thing. Look at E.ON, for example. There's a big energy company in Europe.
Okay, I know them, yeah.
They replaced 17 separate old systems with Kraken.
17.
17. Can you imagine the headache that solved?
That's incredible.
It's a perfect example of what Kraken can do.
And what about results? Did it actually make a difference?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Another company, EDF, they saw a 30-fold increase, 30 times, in new product development after they brought in Kraken.
Wow.
Plus, they said their customers are happier and they've saved hundreds of millions in costs.
That's amazing. So what's the secret sauce? How are they making energy this efficient?
It all comes down to AI, artificial intelligence.
I was going to say, it's got to be AI, right?
You got it. We're talking about a system that crunches through 5 billion data points every single day.
5 billion.
Every single day.
Just to make sure I understand, what kind of data we're even talking about here?
We're talking weather patterns, grid capacity, energy prices in real time, even how much energy individual homes are using.
So it's really looking at the whole picture.
Exactly. And it's learning all the time, using that data to optimize the entire grid.
So this isn't some sci-fi fantasy.
Not anymore. This is how things are working right now.
And for those of us who aren't energy experts?
The average folks like you and me?
Yeah, exactly. What does all this actually mean?
Like, what are the actual benefits?
Right. What's the takeaway here?
Well, remember that iPhone moment we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, the CEO said we're still in the BlackBerry era.
Right. Well, this is where things start to get really interesting. Kraken's AI, it's already making things like homes with zero energy bills a reality.
Zero energy bills. Seriously?
No joke. It's all about taking smart energy management to a whole new level.
Okay, but how does that even work?
So picture this. Your home energy system, it's constantly learning your routine. When you wake up, when you're home, when you use certain appliances.
Okay, that makes sense.
But here's the thing. At the same time, it's also getting real-time updates from the grid.
So it knows things like energy prices.
Exactly. And whether it's a good time to tap into renewables. Wow.
Even if there's any potential strain on the network.
So it's like having a superpowered thermostat.
That's a good way to put it. But it's not just about heating and cooling. It's about orchestrating your entire home's energy use.
That's incredible.
And here's the best part. It can automatically shift when you're using energy to those times when prices are lower.
So it's saving you money automatically.
Exactly. And it can prioritize using your own solar power if you have it.
Or energy stored in a home battery.
Precisely. It's all about making the most of what's available.
Could it even sell energy back to the grid?
Absolutely. When demand is high, your home could actually become a mini power plant.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
And because it's constantly fine-tuning everything,
You could actually end up with a zero energy bill at the end of the month.
it's already happening for some people.
That's amazing. So we're not just talking about futuristic homes here.
It's about transforming the way we think about energy altogether.
Right. It's about the whole system.
Yeah.
And one of the big hurdles is making renewable energy like wind and solar more reliable.
Right, because the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine.
Exactly. But that's where Kraken's AI comes in again.
How so?
By crunching tons of data. Historical weather, real-time grid conditions.
They're even using satellite imagery,
Oh,
right?
got it. And it all adds up to much more accurate forecasts for renewable energy production.
So they can predict when the sun's going to be strong or when the wind's going to pick up.
Precisely. Which means we can rely less on those old fossil fuel plants.
And move towards a cleaner energy mix.
Exactly. It's about making renewables a truly viable alternative.
This all sounds incredibly promising,
Right. It's really exciting stuff.
but there must be huge challenges too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what about security? We're talking about connecting millions of homes and businesses to this system.
That's the million-dollar question right there.
Right, because if something goes wrong,
It could be a big problem.
exactly. So how's Kraken addressing that?
Well, they haven't made all their security protocols public,
Which makes sense.
but they do have a whole team dedicated to monitoring for threats and vulnerabilities.
So they're taking it seriously.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about protecting the system itself.
Right. You've also got all that data flowing through it.
Exactly. We're talking about people's energy usage, real-time pricing, potentially even personal information if they have smart home devices.
It's a huge responsibility.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And it highlights why we need strong regulations.
And some industry standards too.
Absolutely. To make sure all these systems are secure and people's privacy is protected.
Especially as they become more common.
Exactly, because this technology is only going to become more widespread.
And speaking of the future,
And how quickly things are changing.
the CEO mentioned Kraken being in the BlackBerry stage.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Like there's a lot more innovation to come.
Right. It's still early days.
But what role does government policy play in all of this? I mean, can innovation alone solve these challenges?
Honestly, that's the big question, isn't it?
It's like we need the right rules of the game
Exactly. Governments have a huge role to play.
in making sure this all works.
They can create an environment where these technologies can actually flourish.
By doing things like what?
Well, for starters, making it easier to connect renewable energy to the grid.
Streamlining those processes.
Exactly. And setting clear rules about data privacy and security.
So everyone knows where they stand.
Right. Those are the kinds of things that will determine how quickly we can make this energy revolution happen.
It makes you wonder, what could the world look like if we actually got this right?
What if Kraken and companies like them actually pull this off?
What would that iPhone era of energy actually mean for everyday people?
I think it means a world where we don't have to think about energy all the time.
It just works in the background.
Exactly. No more stressing about bills or blackouts or our carbon footprint.
We could just trust that it's all being taken care of.
In the smartest, cleanest, most efficient way possible.
That sounds almost too good to be true.
I know it's a big vision, but I think it's within reach.
Can you paint a picture for me? What would this actually look like in my life?
Okay, so you wake up in the morning, right?
Okay.
And your home's already the perfect temperature. Warm and cozy in the winter, cool and comfortable in the summer.
Using the cheapest, greenest energy available.
Exactly. Maybe it used power from your home battery?
Which was charged up overnight with wind power.
Right. Or maybe it even drew some energy from your electric car.
Because it's basically a giant battery on wheels.
Exactly. And then throughout the day, your home's always adjusting.
based on my schedule and what's happening with the grid,
It knows when you're doing laundry, running the dishwasher,
even just watching TV.
and because it's always talking to the grid,
It can grab energy when it's cheapest and cleanest.
and even sell some back when demand is high.
So I'm not just saving money. I'm actually part of the solution.
You become an active participant in the energy grid.
Wow. That's a whole new way of thinking about it.
And it's not just about individual homes either.
What else could we see changing?
Think about entire cities.
Where everything is optimized for energy efficiency,
Traffic lights, street lights, public transportation.
all running on Kraken's platform.
It's about reducing waste-cutting emissions and creating a more resilient grid.
That can handle whatever challenges come our way.
Exactly. Whether it's extreme weather or growing energy demands.
It's a pretty exciting vision for the future.
It really is. And the best part is, it's not as far off as some people might think.
The technology's already here.
We just need to scale it up and create the right environment for it to thrive.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
It's been a deep dive for sure.
from the nitty-gritty of Kraken's platform
All the way to what our lives could look like.
and the challenges we still need to tackle.
There's a lot to be optimistic about, though.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that the future of energy is not set in stone.
It's a story we're all writing together.
And companies like Kraken are writing some pretty exciting chapters.
They're definitely pushing the boundaries.
And the best part is we all have a role to play.
Absolutely.
Whether it's embracing new technologies like smart homes and electric cars,
Or supporting policies that promote renewable energy.
or just staying informed about what's happening in the space.
Every little bit helps.
So there you have it, a deep dive into the world of Kraken
AI-powered energy management,
and a glimpse into a future,
where energy is no longer a source of stress.
but a seamless part of our lives.
I'm excited to see where it all goes from here.
Me too. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and stay tuned because this energy revolution is just getting started.